get out of the picture.
I know. So you figure you can handle it? Jump through there. You're used to seeing
Maybe I should make
Chair,
the lunch.
that's like-
Well, no,
I
sat over there,
I
and I
had to
didn't.
change the chairs for that. That chair is a little bit
Soft.
soft for me to sit
There's
on
only,
too long.
there's only
And I
kind
sat
of
on it too long as it was.
2 stories in Hammond, and I don't remember either one of them too good. With
Well, I can remember one when you were digging for
I
China.
mean, Dad's talking, you just take that handle,
I
sticks
don't
out the
remember
side,
that
and
one.
Well, we were
So I can't keep up with
digging
it.
on, making the cellar bigger,
That was at home. That was
right in that.
at Telfordville, though.
No, this is out at St.
Yeah,
Edmunds.
should be
Oh, I don't
At
remember.
home.
We never built any cellar bigger than that.
You did so, we had Jimmy Waddell digging. You know, I was there with him, I know.
Oh,
And the hen kept
I
cackling
can't
around there,
remember.
and he said, you didn't lay a golden egg, get the hell out, so he took it to the dirt and chased it. But anyway, he come up with the idea that if you dug far enough, you got to China. And he said, if you find their pigtail sticks up first. So he got some horsehair, degraded it, he stuck the pick in the ground and he tramped it in there good high. I don't know, it was leashing their belt. He said, look, we got to China, grab that pigtail, but grab it quick and pull it, they'll cut it off. So they yanked and yanked and they pulled this stupid thing up, it was cut off. You're too slow. He said, the kids didn't know the difference.
Well, I remember that, but I thought when we were digging the cellar at home.
Oh,
in
this was
Telfordville.
Edmonton.
Well, I.
And if you were riding on old Charlie at the back, you bounce, and right on the ground, boom, right off the back end of old Charlie.
I've told that story a couple of times, and I don't know where it was, but nobody else seems to remember that.
Now, this was
That
Jimmy
a
Waddell.
Maud.
Jimmy-
Maud had come home, and she was on the front of the horse, and I was on behind.
This was in Edmonton.
In wherever it was,
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember that
Why
night
would
right
they-
on my butt, right over the
why were
table.
they
It's a lot of
building
work,
the cellar
gotta stay
deeper
with
in
it.
Edmonton? We were just renting that
I know,
place.
but you dug a bigger cellar underneath. One time I come in from outside and I found all these little baby mice. There's no hair on them yet.
Yeah.
Had 5 of them.
Yeah,
And Louise, the cellar door was just a hole in the floor.
yeah.
Louise had just gone up out of the cellar, and I said, Louise, look what I got. And I showed her these little
Yeah.
fuzzy mice, and boom, she stepped backward and down the cellar she went. Right? I didn't intend to do that, but I just didn't think.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary with these little fuzzy mice with no hair on them. Old mice. Down the cellar she went, boom.
Well, did we live on the farm around them and then move in town? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
We moved in the spring, and then in July when the school was out, we come out to Telfordville.
Because the people that, I think it was the people that probably lived on the farm, come into town there one day and said that they had some kittens out there with no heads, I guess it was. And anyhow, they wanted us to come and see him, so Russell and I went out to see him.
Well, Russell's going to be a baby hardly on
Well, he's hardly able to walk.
Oh, hard to be
They
able to walk.
probably need the fresh air for Bernard.
Hard to keep up, isn't it?
So he got out there all right.
I'll turn it
When we
down.
went to
That's
come
okay.
home,
No,
That's
I'll
okay.
sit over here in the corner
Oh,
of the
it's too
shed.
cold
No,
for you.
no, I'll sit just
Oh,
here for a change.
we can close the window.
No, I'll just, I think I can sit here for a
Now, you and Russell, what?
So
Just
we-
the two of you?
No,
I thought
this
somebody
kid-
went with you.
This kid was with us,
Oh.
that lived out in the farm,
I
and he
remember
was,
Mother saying they took little Russell, and he must have only about a year old.
well,
he
he was
must have
able
had
to
a long
walk, he was walking.
Well, it was quite a long, must have been 3 miles out from where we lived in town to out to the farm.
I know it was a long way, but
From the school, it was a mile and a half, and we were away this side of the school yet.
because we got out there all right, and that was fine. And we never did find the cats with no heads. They seemed to disappear when we got there. But anyhow, when we're coming back, I can remember Russell playing out. And he's bawling, and I'm
You
2
were
years
very
older than him,
busy, yeah.
and we're trying to carry him. And we finally did get home, but I think we got into a lot of trouble when we got there. Mother was all worried
I'm
and
the
scared.
center for taking this little kid so far. I remember saying, you know, that this was going about a little over a year.
Yeah, I don't. And he's pretty heavy. It seemed to me he was awful heavy to carry for a guy my age. I wasn't very big either.
Did you stay in Edmonton with Mother, and you and Russell, or did you come out to the farm on the loads of furniture with us out of Telfordville when we first went out? You see,
Seemed to me I can remember riding on a hay rack, but I'm not just too
Oh, well,
sure.
we took you with us then. I didn't think that we took you. I thought we just had,
I thought we were all there, I couldn't remember.
I thought we just had Bernard and Vivian and Billy and myself. But we must have had you too then on that rack of, yeah.
Before we leave, I'll tell you as much as I know about this goose egg deal. There was another kid involved there too.
Yeah, that's
around
Fletcher
that
boy.
school.
Fletcher boy was with you, I know.
And we went out, and whether he knew where the nests were, I
They were
don't
in the
know.
old straw piles, some old straw piles in the field, and ducks had nested in there.
And
They
we
must have left the nest anyway because
they were all rotten.
they were rotten. You get
And we broke the eggs, and of course we stuck back in at dinner time. You know, you got used to the smell. It didn't bother me in my place. It was just dinner time. They're sitting there ready to eat, so I sit beside Dad, and I pull up. And of course, Daddy's, you know, the big joker. He's sniffling away there. You know, what's this smell? What's this smell? You know, and we can imagine what rotten eggs was like. So pretty soon he goes and gets a talcum powder. He's talcum put powder all over me, and of course he's laughing and joking and made me sit there. That's about the end of the tale. I can't remember what happened after that. But
You did a lot of scrubbing. Remember one time you were so damn dirty, you said, go and wash it. He just went around like this here and all this, the black all over, just a little piece in the middle was washed.
but that's all. But Edmonton, that's about all.
I've got a good story about Maud from Alliance. Can I tell it?
Sure.
Now?
You betcha.
Oh, well, we used to take turns always going into having a ride when Dad went into town because we were 10 miles away. But this day Dad didn't have time to go. It was my turn, and I was awfully mad that I didn't get a turn. But he said, Maud, they'll have to, the two bigger ones can drive themselves, can go in and get the mail and get what we needed. So they went in. And of course, the first time the two girls had ever gone anywhere like that by themselves, and they got the groceries and they forgot the mail. And they come home, and oh, Dad was furious. He was just bawling them out, and they were both crying there. And finally he ended up, he said, what in the world good is your heads for anyway? And Maud was sniffling, and she said, well, at least mine holds my hair, and yours doesn't. And then Dad had to laugh. He couldn't be mad. But I was so mad I ran away. I was going to run away and I wasn't going to come home. And I thought by night time, you know, they'll be so feeling awful bad that I didn't get my ride into town. I went down and I sat below that hill. I thought I sat there for hours. And I thought, well, maybe I can go home now. They'll be feeling pretty bad. But Mother will be home from town. When I got home, Mother grabbed me and she gave me a slap. Get busy and get your dishes done. Where have you been? I've been calling you and calling you. I've been gone about 10 or 15 minutes.
And this time Bertie got mad at me and told me something I didn't want to hear. And this was, she got mad at me and she said, there's no Santa Claus. And I said, you're a darn liar. I went and asked Mom, and Mom said, no, there's no Santa Claus.
Well, that's what I told
I was
you.
old enough to know it anyway. Good thing she told me. I probably wouldn't have known it yet.
But you know, Russell, he must have been 11 years old when Russell was born, eh? I was 9 when you
Yeah,
were
he
born.
must have been.
I was past 11 years old when Russell was born.
She didn't know where babies come
And
from.
I didn't know where babies come from.
Well, I knew by that time, I'm sure.
Well, you know, when they took the cows away, they pulled the blinds down and made us girls stay in the house. We didn't.
I was
Were
blowing out
you-
the yard. We
could-
always peeked under the blinds over we weren't supposed to.
But anyway, this girl and I, we started home from school, and she said, why isn't Louise at school today? And I said, well, Mother's in at the hospital because Dad was scared the stork would bring a baby and drop it out in the snow, and we wouldn't hear it, and the baby would freeze. She said, stork, what? The baby's come from your mother's belly. And that made me so mad, I hauled off and hit her and knocked her down. And I started to run, and I had about another, at least 2 miles to get before I got home. I ran just as much as I could till I got home and fell in the house, just crying as hard as I could cry. Louise thought, sure, you know, what's happened? She thought, sure, somebody had caught me. And so then I said, well, that there Miller girl, she's such a liar, you know, she told me where the babies come from your mother's belly, and I don't believe that. And so I thought Louise did very good. She said, did Mother tell you? I said, and the storks brought the baby. And Louise said, no. I think in a way Edith is right what she told you. But the storks didn't bring the baby, but I said, Mother said so. And Louise said, are you sure Mother said that? I
sure
think
she
Dad
did, too.
said that. Wasn't that Dad that said that? Oh, no, she said, Mother said that God made the babies. But she just didn't tell you where she made them, where he made them. And I thought she did very good for a little 13-year-old to have to come up with
I
something
guess
like
so.
that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go on with Edmonton now. There wasn't too much else in Edmonton.
No, it wasn't that long.
We went to the first parade, the first exhibition we ever went to, And then when we come home, we left at night because they were working on that highway there. Would they be, I guess they'd be paving it, or would they be putting new pavement on it, or?
On the highway, not on the highway.
Too. They were
Be
working.
gravel.
They sure never had any pavement on Highway 2 for a lot of years after
Okay.
It
that.
would be gravel.
And then it would be gravel. They
They
were
didn't
working.
have gravel even on it in those days. It was
Well,
just
they
dirt.
were graveling it then. That's what they were doing.
They didn't think they had gravel till Aberhart got in years later before they were putting gravel on that
You're
road.
talking of 39.
No, Highway 2.
Oh.
They never had gravel on that. Well, he rebuilt the road. Maybe they had gravel before, but they rebuilt the road.
They
And
were rebuilding the road anyway.
That's when Eberhard got in and Social Credit got in. That's when they rebuilt that road and put gravel on it.
This was in 25. So
Yeah, the old road was crisscrossed across the railroad track.
So
about
we
6 times if you
couldn't,
had nothing to do.
we couldn't travel in the daytime, but they would let the teams through at night. And so we had to leave Edmonton at 6 o'clock at night. We left, and they fixed a mattress up on top of the load where us kids could all lay down and sleep. But these kids would, first we walked for miles. We walked, but the road was so bad. And then finally the kids got tired. They got up and laid down, and I climbed up on the load, and I didn't dare go to sleep because they'd lay on this mattress and go to sleep, and then they'd start sliding. I had to sit there and keep pulling them up on the mattress and keep them from, because they would have hurt themselves, slid down there amongst the furniture and that and the load, you know. So that was but it was, must have been 3:30 or 4 o'clock till we got to, you know, there used to be a school. You remember the schoolhouse
I
along
don't
the road?
suppose. They never traveled that road much. It was years
I
later.
can't-
I can remember where the school used to be on the east side there.
Yeah,
I can remember the school.
I don't know how far that
I
was,
don't know
but
whether it be as
the
far-
horses were played out.
Ellerslie, it'd be as far as Ellerslie, I guess, anyway.
The horses were played out, and we had to stop there, and the men built a fire, and Mother had sent a big pail of cocoa and a pail of coffee and lunch, and we had,
Billy McDillon and Perry.
and then they slept a little bit there, but I didn't sleep anymore. You kids might have
I
climbed back.
remember over Nellie, that Bay Mare, she was laid stripped out. She was having to sleep.
Yeah, they had the red horses. And we never got out to Telfordville until 4 o'clock. We left Edmonton at 6 o'clock. We never got out to Telfordville until 4
I
o'clock.
can't remember where the
And my aunt, Uncle Harry's wife, she had 2 little girls, and she wasn't any more than
school was on the other side. This
22,
farther up,
23
I
years
think.
old.
On the
And
west,
here
on
was
the
a
east side
slug
of
of
the road.
kids come out to stay, and they had
The
a
road, part of
little
the time was
two-room
on
house
the east side of the
with
track. part of the
a
time.
lean-to built on the
Crisscrossed
outside.
back and forth about
And
3
Maud was
times.
already out there. So there was 7 of us. No, Mother kept Russell in Edmonton. There was 6 of us kids out there on a little
One-room shack.
2-room shack, and a little woman there with 2 children of her own, about 22 years old. Maud and I, we slept out on the lean-to, and when it rained, our bed got all wet. I don't know where you kids must have slept on the floor.
I think Aunt Martha was about 12 years older than me, so if I was 12 at that time, she'd be 24.
She'd be 24, which anyway, I know she wasn't very old. But,
But you say Russell stayed in Edmonton with Mother.
Mother,
I
yeah.
got an idea Russell stayed there. I did too.
I don't
'cause
remember.
I didn't know whether you.
That was my second trip out. I went out the first time with Uncle Harry when he took his stuff up. And I went out and Dad took Martha out with a buggy, and I come back in with Dad in the
Oh
buggy.
yeah.
And we slept. We got Sarge Kelmer the first day when I went with Harry. We slept overnight in Kelmer in the livery barn.
But we lived down there in the creek there at Telfordville.
Tell your story about getting wet in bed.
Well,
We got wet in bed a lot of times when we were little, but this time we couldn't have been.
And we couldn't get out on the road. We had to go through
Pearson.
that 1/4. I could walk across to Johnson's and get to school.
That
I
was
walked
through
that way.
Pearson's place and through Johnson's place to get out.
And,
go to
and
school.
rubber boots to get to
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
And then it didn't only rain, then it turned cold and snowed. It was terribly cold. And Selma Johnson came over one Sunday, and you know how Mother could always find something to make an awfully good supper, and I guess she did that night too. And Selma knew Maud from when Maud was out there. Maud had already gone back to Edmonton to keep house for Dad. But Selma was writing to Maud, and she wrote to Maud and said, I was over to visit your folks on Sunday, and she told what a good supper Mother cooked, you know. And we had such a good supper, but we had to eat with our coats on because it was cold in there.
Except for the stove with the coats on.
And Dad didn't even phone to Telfordville and say, take word up to them, I'm moving them out. You know what Dad was like? He did everything in a hurry. He just jumped on the train, caught a ride over to Telfordville, I don't know, probably walked up home from Tubbsville or somebody
Yeah,
did a ride or something.
walked across country up to through.
Coming up, he stopped along the road, got men to take his horses and stuff, and
Well, it was just a signal that was rough lumber and a bit that was dried out, there was cracks, and it turned 30 below that in November. That was the coldest month of the year. Was that November? Oh, it turned off. It turned 30 below, and I was sick. We'd have froze to death. Only Ed Scobie and old McInerney come over with a load of wood in the crush cut saw and sawed us up some wood. I guess we'd have froze to death. Mother was trying to drag it out of the bush. I was sick. I was sick.
I was there, I
couldn't help her.
helping Mother get wood out and sawing it up. And,
Ed Scobie and old McInerney coming with a load of dry wood in the crush that sawed us up a bunch of wood for us.
When we left there,
Never
Dad
forgot
said,
those two. My God, they were a lifesaver.
Dad said, you probably will get to Leduc with your team, because we just had a team and a sleigh. Before we go with the loads, because we were going to have trouble on the road, we'll have to trade the wagons or something. But he gave Mother enough money to take us kids and go and stay at the hotel overnight, and also the keys for this house, because we had some stuff in our sleigh, you know, that we'd want to put in the house. But when we got the house and Mother went in and looked around, she said, we don't have to go to the hotel. I can manage here overnight. And we went in this house, and of course we had blankets and stuff in the sleigh. There was a wood heater in the house, and there was some wood there, and you know, Mother always could manage. She went and made us beds on the floor, and Dad came the next day. He stopped there with the teams, and he was going to go up to see if we left word, you know, where we were staying overnight, and here we were all there, safe and sound.
I didn't know we ever got, you said we got, I mean, Leduc with sleighs, with one sleigh?
No, we had to change.
We got almost to Calmer, a mile out west of Calmer, we changed to a wagon.
That's right, we had to go in and borrow a wagon.
There was a little sod house, sod roof on it.
That's right.
Them old Swedes lived there for years after. And they died off that. I think it was three boys and their mothers lived there for 3 years in that sod house right by the creek, just this side of Calmer.
Mr. Terrio drove the wagon.
And Billy McInerney was along, he always was helping us. Billy McInerney was there too, I'm sure.
Oh, well, Billy was helping Dad with the other.
Oh, with the other.
With the other.
It seemed to me I was with you. I was the last rig. It seemed to me.
No, it was old.
Terrio that had his. It's funny that Snow left if old Terry was driving because he drove like a son of a gun. He was a horse. He didn't spare the horses. He's a nice old guy, Paul. He chased the woman chaser, but he could sure make the horse.
He stopped in Calmer.
He sure would help you with anything.
He said we need a little lunch, and Mother said I've got lunch all made, but we need a little cheese to go with it. And I remember, and us kids were crazy for cheese.
Yeah,
we went into the store and bought cheese. No, we liked that. We had some cheese to go along with our lunch.
I said, yeah, he's false, old Paul, but he had some good points too.
Oh yeah.
He'd do anything for you. He couldn't read or write. He signed his name with an X. He ran away from home when he was 12, old Paul did. And down from Montreal, and he never went back. That was his second family, Frank and Lawrence. Him and his wife split up, and they split up, and then she wanted to come back to him, so he took her back. And that's when Frank and Lawrence were born, the second.
She was such a gentle, nice little woman. You'd wonder how she ever got in.
Yeah, how she ever. Her father was the first doctor in Edmonton. Mrs. Terrier's father was the first doctor who was in Edmonton.
Are you ready for some lunch now, or?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Push the fade button. See fade? The end button on this end.
There's a lot of husbands was mad at old Paul. Tell your story about getting wet in bed.
Well,
We got wet in bed a lot of times when we were little, but this time we couldn't have been.
And we couldn't get out on the road. We had to go through
Pearson.
that one quarter. I could walk across to Johnson's and get to school.
I
I
was
walked
through
that way.
Pearson's place and through Johnson's place to get out.
And,
go to
and
school.
rubber boots to get to school.
Yeah.
And then it didn't only rain, then it turned cold and snowed. It was terribly cold. And Selma Johnson came over one Sunday, and you know how Mother could always find something to make an awfully good supper, and I guess she did that night too. And Selma knew Maud from when Maud was out there. Maud had already gone back to Edmonton to keep house for Dad. But Selma was writing to Maud. And she wrote to Dad, or she wrote to Maud and said, I was over to visit your folks on Sunday, and you're told what a good supper Mother cooked, you know. And we had such a good supper, but we had to eat with our coats on because it was cold in there.
Except for the stove with the coats on.
And Dad didn't even phone to Talbottville and say, take word up to them, I'm moving them out. You know what Dad was like? He did everything in a hurry. He just jumped on the train, caught a ride over to Talbottville. I don't know, probably walked up home from Talbottville or somebody
Yeah,
a ride or something.
walked across country up to through.
Coming up, he stopped along the road, got men to take his horses and stuff. And
Well, it was a signal that was rough lumber, and it dried out, it was cracks, and it turned 30 below that in November. That was the coldest month of the year, was that November.
Yeah.
Oh, it turned off, it turned 30
And
below,
they arranged
and
for
I
them to
was
come
sick.
and get the
We'd
loads
have
of
frozen
stuff.
to death. Only Ed Scobie and own McInnell come over with a load of wood in the crush got saw and sawed us up some wood. I just been froze to death.
Yeah.
Mother was trying to drag it out of the bush. I was sick.
Yeah.
I was sick.
I
and
was there,
I couldn't help her.
helping Mother get wood out and sawing it up. And,
Ed Scobie and old McInnell coming with a load of dry wood in the crust.
When we
Sawed us up a
left,
bunch of wood for us.
when we left there,
Never
Dad
forgot those
said,
two. My God, they were a lifesaver.
Dad said, you probably will get to Leduc with your team, because we just had a team and a sleigh.
Yeah.
Before we go with the loads, because we were going to have trouble on the road. We'll have to trade the wagons or something. But he gave Mother, he gave Mother enough money to take us kids and go and stay at the hotel overnight, and also the keys for this house, because we had some stuff in our sleigh, you know, that we'd want to put in the house. But when we got the house and Mother went in and looked around, she said, we don't have to go to the hotel. I can manage here overnight. And we went in this house. And of course, we had blankets and stuff in the sleigh. There was a wood heater in the house, and there was some wood there. And you know, Mother always could manage. She went and made us beds on the floor. And Dad came the next day. He stopped there with the teams, and he was going to go up to see if we left word, you know, where we were staying overnight. And here we were all there, safe and sound.
I didn't know we ever got. You said we got into Leduc with sleighs, with one sleigh.
No, we had to change.
We got almost to Kelmer, a mile out west of Kelmer. We changed to a wagon.
That's right. We had to go in and borrow a wagon.
There was a little sod house, sod roof on it.
That's right.
Them
Yeah.
old Swedes lived there for years after.
Yeah.
Finally, they died off. That
Yeah.
I think it was
He
three
gave us the
boys and
wagon
their
we
mothers
left
lived
the
there
sleigh there.
for 3 years in that sod house right by the creek, just this side of Kelmer.
Mr. Terrio drove the wagon.
And Billy McInnell was along. He always was helping us. Billy McInnell was there too, I'm sure.
Oh, well, Billy was helping Dad with the other.
Oh, with the other.
With the other.
It seemed to me I was with you. I was the last rig. It seemed
No,
to
it
me.
was old.
Terrio that had us.
Hmm?
It's funny that Snow left if old Terry was driving because he drove like a son of a gun. He was a horse. He didn't spare the horses. He's a nice old guy, Paul. He chased a woman chaser, but he could sure make the horse.
He stopped in
He
Calmer.
sure would help you with anything.
He said we
He was
need a
awful
little lunch,
generous
and my
person.
mother said I've got lunch all day, but we need a little cheese to go with it. And I remember, and us kids were crazy for cheese.
Yeah,
We went into the store and bought cheese. No, we liked that. We had some cheese to go along with our lunch.
I said, he had his faults, old Paul, but he had some good points too.
Oh yeah.
He'd do anything for you. He couldn't read or write. He signed his name with an X. He ran away from home when he was 12, old Paul did. And down from Montreal, and he never went back. That was his second family, Frank and Lawrence. Him and his wife split up, and they split up, and then she wanted to come back to him, so he took her back. And that's when Frank and Lawrence were born, the second.
She was such a gentle, nice little woman. You'd wonder how she ever got in.
Yeah, how she ever. Her father was the first doctor in Edmonton. Mrs. Terrier's father was the first doctor who was in Edmonton.
Are you ready for some lunch now, or?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Push the fade button. See fade? The end button on this end.
But there's a lot of husbands who was mad at old Paul.
Yeah.
Time for some stories. There.
Well, where you at? What? Now what?
Now you have to start talking. I think we left off from Hardesty and now we're to
When
Telfordville.
we moved into Leduc for the winter.
Oh, well, you haven't talked about that then.
Well, that's
Well, you
when-
were telling stories about
So
terriers.
that's when we were going. That's when we were going back. We were going into Leduc.
Okay?
So we spent the winter in Leduc.
Yeah, we told you what happened when we got Leduc. Mother, instead of taking us to the hotel the way Dad said, we stopped there at the house all night.
And there was a big fat girl in there that used to tease me about her. A Loomis girl. She said she was so big that I had to, went to hug her, I had to make a chalk mark to get around her.
Loomis girl from out here? There was Loomis's out here.
No, the Loomis is in Leduc. They own the garage in Leduc. Where the tire shop is, that was Loomis's garage.
Where was your dad working at that time? Was he still with the railroads
We
then?
still
Or?
was on CPR and Edmonton. How long did you work in Edmonton?
When did he go to Hannah?
Well, we worked
'Cause
out.
I was telling stories about when we used to go to Hannah, and it was only little. Somebody was from Hannah, and I was telling them that we used to go down there in the summertime. And,
You know, I was left alone at
but
home.
that, I don't know. It seemed to me I was what, 10 years old. Would have been older
Well,
at that
see,
time.
you were, how much younger? You're 7 years younger than me.
Mhm.
So I'd be 17, so you'd be 10.
Something, yeah. It was a long
I think
time.
I was around 17 when you. I used to milk the cows, did everything alone. Everybody else left. Bertie was already left home by that
So
time.
I say, I don't know
You'd be
too much.
19, so
I don't know too much about Telfordville because I wasn't there very much. Outside of that first ball, which we were also told of when Selma was there and how bad it was. And
well, how long did you go to school? Telfordville school.
when we come back out to Telfordville, I finished my grade 8 there in
That was that same year, was it?
the same
Okay,
year.
yeah, I was-
And that's all I went to school in
Yeah,
Telfordville.
I was in 6, I guess.
Yeah.
You'd be-
Yeah,
Okay.
I should have passed the year before, you see, but I had trouble writing my exams. I had all these boils, and I had so much trouble and was sick. And, ordinarily, nowadays they would get special permission and you'd write them over. But in those days, if you didn't write your exams,
You had boils, you failed.
yeah, boils, you failed. That's right. And I had 30 boils where I
Do
couldn't
I need
sit
to
down.
sit closer, or am I all right here? Do you want me to sit on the Chesterfield, or is it okay?
It's okay. We still got you
Okay.
in.
'Cause I don't want to be left out.
Well, that's what I told you. You should, before you and Leeson go on reminiscing about Telfordville, you should tell about the terrible trip we had moving back out.
Moving back. Well,
Then
you'd say it was terrible. I didn't think it was so terrible. We just walked all the way out to Telfordville.
Oh,
From
through the mud, chased the cows through the ditches up to water up to our waist. We were soaking wet.
We had,
well, wasn't that told?
Bertie, do you want this?
Wasn't that told before?
No.
Or was that?
Is it my
Your
juice?
juice.
Maybe not.
No, I
we
guess
got
it
out
was.
as far as,
Feels pretty cool.